Hello. I'm looking there because that's Instagram and this is my main one. I should be going live everywhere now. If you've got any questions while I'm going live, feel free to drop them in the comments, and I can pick them up after if they don't come up while I'm going live. So the title of this is just answering questions. I've been asked a couple of questions over the past couple of weeks. I've been in the background. I've had family over. It's the summer holidays, and my daughter and her family came over from Spain for 10 days, which has been absolutely lovely. So I've been doing nice things with them. My camera on here is a bit high. I feel like I'm being cut off. So that's been brilliant, and that's why I've not been on. No excuses, just enjoying family time and going around Lego Discovery and where else did we go? Smith Hills Farm near me, um, and Fun Factory, I think it was in Manchester, where they've got the biggest slide in Europe that my grandson went down and frightened the life out of himself, bless him. Yeah, so the two questions that I've been asked both are by ladies called Lisa, two different Lisas. I don't want to give their last names, but there's two Lisas that asked two different questions. And the first one that I'm going to answer, they both seem quite relevant to me at the moment. So I gave these a bit of thought and I've made some notes down. So if you see me looking down, it's because I'm looking at my notes. The first one was how to find inner peace, which I think is a really good question, especially in this world that we live in at the moment where it's really busy and there's lots of noise everywhere. And when I say somebody's said thank you. When I say lots of noise, I don't mean noise like that we hear. I mean just we're inundated with information all the time. Or we've got our phones on, or we're scrolling, or whatever it is. There's lots of stuff going on. And sometimes I think we get tempted to look for inner peace externally, that we need to do something to find inner peace instead of looking inwards. And for me, one of the biggest things I think that I do that certainly helps me find inner peace is to just take time out, to just go for a walk and to just connect with nature and just get out without looking at my phone, without doing anything, and just get used to going back to basics again, if that makes sense. So being, self-aware for me is one of the first steps. When, the question is, how do you find inner peace? The question that I would ask a client, if a client was sat in front of me now, is how do you know when you've not got inner peace? Because that can sometimes lead us into knowing what it's like to have inner peace. And sometimes we will have moments of it, but we're just not recognizing it because of all the noise that's going around. So it's when things start to quieten down enough that we can hear that inner wisdom, or there's just space to stop and recharge and think. That for me is what inner peace is all about. So what we can do is learn to embrace the present, to be in the moment. And I know I talk about this an awful lot, but it really does help. Instead of trying to predict the future or worrying or trying to control our environment and everything else, it's about, just being in the present. Because even when I've been through the worst things ever in my life, and if I think about my recent diagnosis with cancer, it wasn't pleasant to sit in that office and be told that you've got stage 4 ovarian cancer, but I was okay. The sky didn't fall in, nothing bad happened. And yeah, even though it wasn't nice to hear, I was okay. And 99.99% of the time we are okay if we just accept and be in the moment with whatever it is that's going on. That's the first thing that I wanted to say. Limiting external distractions. Like I said, turn your phone off, spend a bit of time without your phone. Just go and sit underneath a tree in the garden. It doesn't matter. Just sit in a space on your kitchen floor, whatever. Just take time out from everything that's going on around you. And really spend some time to just notice your thoughts. Notice what's going on for you when you're sat with no distractions whatsoever. What's coming up. You might find that there's a theme that comes up for you again and again. it might be that you just don't know how to sit and just be, because you're so used to being distracted or busy or doing something. This, again, it's one of the things that I talk a lot with clients about. For me personally, I'm really good at avoiding feelings by doing lots of things. That's a wonderful tactic that I've learned throughout my life. Is in order to avoid feelings and emotions and all that stuff, I just get busy. I just do more stuff. I take on more jobs. I'll start decorating. I'll start rearranging furniture, anything, rather than processing the feelings, because I find it uncomfortable. But uncomfortable isn't necessarily bad. Uncomfortable just means that we're not used to doing it. So really, what I am doing now is learning to do it more, spending more time looking at what's going on for me and really noticing the changes that are happening. When something happens, do I get a physical feeling around that? And being okay with it, just noticing it, being okay with it and letting it go. I don't need to hang on to it. It's not a bad thing having a feeling. I think sometimes for me, I experience, any negative feelings as bad, whether that's anger or sadness or whatever it is. I try to avoid them. Whereas I've found, more recently that anger for me is a really good motivator for me to make a change. So it's not, there's no such thing as a good emotion or a bad emotion. What else have I got? Practice mindfulness. I've already touched on that. Sit and be a bit zen. Connect with nature. Go out for a walk. I've walked, I've got a wonderful place near me and there's a big lake and I've walked around it twice tonight. I went and did my shop at Tesco, stopped off and I walked twice around the lake, and it just fills me up. Just being around the trees and water and everything without thinking about things, just moseying around, noticing the ducks and the plants and the flowers and, the changes in the seasons and all that sort of stuff. It's good for it. And it's one way of moving us more towards finding inner peace. Looking at being grateful and showing gratitude for the things that we've got, that's another way. It's all about looking inward. If we're trying to find inner peace by looking externally at things, whether you find inner peace, you might think you find it in a relationship or a job or something like that. It's about going inside and really connecting with what it is that you want, honestly and authentically. Not what you think you want or what you think you should do or what you think you need, but really connect with it. And I think most of us are quite simple, really, in what we do want and what we like. So yes, that's what I would recommend to find inner peace, or to get on the journey to find inner peace, because that's what it is. It's a journey. And, we can't speed it up or slow it down. Life is a journey, which leads me on to the next question, which was dealing with uncertainty. How do we deal with uncertainty? Which again was something that I've experienced recently, because it was kind of shoved in my face, not knowing what was going to happen. But the reality of it is, none of us know what's going to happen. For me, the cancer journey has meant that there's been twists and turns on it, more twists and turns than what I would have expected. But I was under the illusion that I was in control of my life. I was, the life that I was living was in my control, and it's not. None of it is in our control. When we look at it, life is full of uncertainty. The big thing is learning to trust ourselves and learning to trust that, we've got everything that we need inside us to make the decisions that we need to make. Again, when things quieten down, when we take time out away from all the electrical things and all the noise and all the hubbub and everything that's going on, and just take time to notice what's going on, I think, that's when we start to understand that we're not actually in control of anything. Uncertainty and the unknown are the things that cause us most stress and anxiety. But it's learning that's okay. It's okay to feel a bit apprehensive about doing new things and everything. And the reality is, and I know I've spoke about this before, that do you know what I mean? It's I can't trust myself. You are looking great. Oh, thanks, Tammy. it's about learning to trust yourself. I don't trust myself 100% all the time. I don't think anybody does. But it's knowing that, you know, we make the decisions that we make because in that moment it's the best that we can come up with, and that's good enough. You know, focus on what you can control and not what you can't control, and understand that uncertainty is part of life. I don't want to know everything that's going to happen to me before it happens. That's boring. You know, there's a certain amount of excitement in not knowing what's around the corner, and that's okay. You know, my mentor and the bloke whose institute I trained for transactional analysis in always says again and again that, you know, therapy is a journey, not an event. And I think you can say that about life as well. You know, it's all the twists and turns and everything where the juicy stuff is. That's where we find out about ourselves and, you know, the people around us, and everything is in those little moments that weren't planned for. So, you know, I want to say we don't need to do anything. But if we can get comfortable being uncertain and unclear about the future, then things just unfold in front of us, and, you know, we're willing to accept it. Again, it's about being in the moment. You know, we can limit exposure to stress to a certain extent, but then something will come. Life throws us a curveball, and it's about us understanding that in those moments of uncertainty and unclarity, you know, and all that sort of stuff, we find the best parts of ourselves. We will come up with the goods when we need to. I have, without a shadow of a doubt, I know for me, I've done that, and I'm sure that you do as well. You know, we can view uncertainty as an opportunity, not planning things, being spontaneous in what we're doing. These are all the good stuff. This is where all the juicy stuff in life is. And a word that I love ever since I listened to it on The Friends is learning to pivot. You know, being resilient enough to know when to keep going and when to pivot, when to move direction and to change. You know, that comes with exploring uncertainty and not being totally in control of our environment a lot of the time. You know, we can plan to a certain extent, but we need to, you know, be prepared to pivot at certain times and to adjust, to know what we like and what we don't like, and experience all the things that life's got to offer us. So I hope I'm not sure I've actually answered those questions, but I've kind of mused over them. So yeah, how to find inner peace, asked by Lisa, and what was the other one? Uncertainty. How to be okay with uncertainty. So that's what I would suggest. If you've got any other questions, then feel free. I might jump on and do some more lives during the week, just little ones, if you want to ask questions. Oh, Lisa's put that's, you know, very helpful. Thank you. Really appreciate the question, Lisa. I was thinking about both of these when I was walking around the lake, and I think they both resonated with me. And I think it's something that I can do more of as well. I'm a bit of a control freak. I refer to myself as a control freak, and I do like being in control of things. But I'm learning as I'm getting older that actually I'm fooling myself, and I'm not in control of most things. I'm in control of my response and reactions to the things that happen around me, but I'm not in control of the things that happen around me. And that's taking it right back to what I said initially with this, is learning to trust yourself, that you will be okay in whatever life throws at you. 99.9% of the time, we always are. So enjoy the rest of your week. Have a wonderful weekend. This weekend, I'm doing another one of our equine guided therapy sessions in a local, it's called Thompson House Equestrian, which is local to me. So if you're local to me and you're interested in connecting with horses and doing a bit around that, to, again, it's grounding, it's being out with nature, and horses have a wonderful way of unlocking the things that you didn't even know were in there. I'm totally self-centered in this and doing it for me as much as anything else, because I just love being around horses. And I get something from every single session that we do. But we're doing that for the first time local to me. I normally do it in Stafford, so that's a new thing that we're doing in Standish, which is near where I live. So I'll no doubt I will take pictures and post them. Other than that, I will try my best to be back again next week. Take care. Speak to you all very soon.